friends, it's Pam from GlamJunkJournals. I hope you guys are all doing well today, and thank you for being here with me. Today we are going boho. Yes, that's right, ladies. We are going boho today. I figured with the fall coming up, the rich, deep colors of the Bohemian style are just perfect. And I'm so excited to be getting a new junk journal. So let's get right into it. But first off, I wanted to say thank you. Thank you for being here with me today. And if you're a new subscriber, welcome to my channel. And I appreciate all my existing subscribers, my new subscribers, and thank you so much for leaving comments and liking and subscribing to my channel. So like I said, we're going boho. And you know, I gotta say that two of my favorite things, well, I can't say two of my favorite things because everything about junk journals is my favorite thing, but we are going to be combining clusters and snippets. So we're going to make a boho cluster snippet roll. And you know, those are some of my favorite things to make for junk journals, and they're so versatile. I just love them. So I did create one, and I'm going to show that to you today, and we're going to make another one, and they're so fun and just, like I said, so versatile, and they make a junk journal page just pop. So here's one that I created, and I just love it, you guys. It's so much fun. So what you're going to need is you're going to need something for the base on the back. And this is how I always create my snippet rolls. This is a bed sheet. So just a piece of cotton fabric. This is not going to show on this side. Now, if you did want to create a snippet roll, say for a journal wrap, and you know, the backside would show, I would just line this with a pretty piece of fabric. But in this particular case, I'm not going to do that because this is going to be covered up. So that's just something to think about here as to what you're going to use your snippet roll for. So let's put one of these together. So like I said, you're going to need something for the base, the bottom layer. And I have my glue pad out here because we're going to be doing some gluing today. So I hope it doesn't like fling all over the place here. So like I said, this is just a sheet, and it is coffee dyed. So whatever you want to use, I just wouldn't use anything real thick because once you start layering your fabrics, it may get a little bulky. And since we're going with the whole boho theme here and these rich, vibrant colors, I pulled out some of my silks from my boho trim box, and I've got to tell you, the sari silks and the boho trims, they're just gorgeous. I could sit there and look at them all day. So what I've done is I've cut some strips, and I've done snippet rolls in the past where I put little strips, like little squares all the way across, just, you know, all the way across like that. But today we're going to do something a little bit different. So I've created longer strips, more of a rectangle. And what we're going to do is we're just going to lay these down. Now the dimensions can be any size. This I didn't make too wide. This is about 1 inch, and these are about 2 inches, my strips. So we're just going to lay these down and glue them. And you know, with boho, I think the pattern mixing is what is so fun here. So what I try to tell myself is don't go too matchy-matchy here. Just, you know, let your creativity flow and mix some patterns and mix some colors, because it always works with boho, I gotta say. So I'm just going to take some of my Fabrifix, which is also Fabri-Tac, it's the same thing. I'm going to tack these down here, just my little strips. And like I said, these are about 2 inches wide here. And you can make them any length you want. You could even just do one big long one if you wanted. So I am going to just tack these down. And that's what I did on my example here. And I'm going to overlap them just a little bit. And like I said, you don't have to worry about getting too matchy-matchy so far as, you know, having them all the same length, unless that's how you like to roll, which is perfectly fine. Not saying there's anything against that, because I do have a tendency to do that. I have a tendency to put each section exactly the same, you know, length apart, but I'm trying to get over that, because I feel that a lot of times that's where the interesting aspect comes in when you put these together, is to make them a little different. So let's see, this one, I don't know. I think I like the more red side. Aren't these pretty? Oh, see, did you see that? I'm trying to make them all exactly the same. Oh, I know. It's a hard habit to break, you guys. And this is probably, I don't know, this is a long snippet roll, but what you can do, and I'll show you this as we finish these up, you can cut these up, and that's what's so fun. You don't have to use the whole long strip here. So let me see how long this is. Yeah, this is about 18 inches long, so it's a long one. So I've got that tacked down. Now what I did on my example is I did sew with my sewing machine down the center with kind of a swirly stitch. I'm going to do that on this here. You don't have to do that if you don't have a sewing machine. You could also hand sew these things. So if you guys hold on just a minute, I'm going to take this across my sewing machine and I'll be right back. All right, easy enough, you guys. And what I did do is I did a decorative stitch and I sewed double, so 2 times, just because I like it. And I just think it looks fabulous, just like that, right? But you know me, more is more. So this is only the beginning. So like I said, use a silk or, you know, a thinner fabric, because I feel that the thicker ones may get a little bulky, but there again, that's just personal preference. So I brought out a bunch of different silks for this project. So from here, this is the snippet roll. We're gonna make the clusters and then put it all together. So I'm gonna move that back there. And what I've done is I've created some more of these clusters here, and I just think they're so pretty. So let's get right into it. So what you're gonna need for that is just little bits of fabric, little bits of the boho trim, any sparkly bits that you want. The sky is the limit here. And so I've created another one here, and look at that. It's so pretty. I love all the different layers, and that you can see all of these little bits coming through, and just the pattern mixing is so cool. And on each of my little clusters here, I did do a focal point, and I like that on my clusters here. So something in the center that draws your eye, you know, the attention getting piece right on the top here. So you want to do that last. So I have gathered some more fabric here, and I'll show you how quick and easy it is to put these cuties together. So I've got one right here, and just some, let me move this back here, I'm getting crowded. Just some little bits. These are all from my, my sari silk stash here. This is some lace. I love the gold, and I am going with the gold theme, and this is going to be my focal point on the top. So let's just put one of these together. This one is more of a tapestry. It's a little heavier, and I like to use something that's a little heavier on the bottom. It kind of holds the cluster together, and that's just how I like to think of it. And then you just start layering here. And what I like to do is cut my pieces similar you know, so one's not really huge and one's not really teeny. To me, that makes for a more cohesive looking cluster, but there again, it's all personal preference here, and they don't have to be exactly the same. So like I said, I'm going to start with the one that I feel is the most sturdy, the heftiest. And I am just going to lay these down, and I kind of like to crisscross them so that you can see each of the layers from the underneath. And so let's see, I don't know, what did I do on these? I don't remember. It's really hard to copy what you did because you can never do exactly the same thing twice. But so we'll go with that. We'll just see what happens. And like I said, when I put these clusters together, I like to have each little portion or a section of each of the different fabrics sticking through so you can see all of the different layers. And it's just a matter of moving this stuff around and, you know, to whatever pleases you. So let's see here. So that looks pretty good because you can see each individual layer. And rather than me thinking too much about it, right, we're just going to glue this down. So what I like to do is just kind of lift up each one and put a little bit of glue on each of the little sections here. And you can move this around. Fabri-Tac takes a little while to dry, so you can really, you know, move it around. And if something doesn't look quite right, you can always just kind of smush it around and move it until you like the way it looks. So you guys, it's really hot here. And of course, you know, since I live in Arizona, that's to be expected, I know. But probably 104, and we're north of Tucson, and Tucson has been like 110. Yike. And I'm getting acclimated to the heat, but I gotta say that it's pretty hot there in the middle of the day. Now let's see, now this one, if I use the whole purple, I think it might overwhelm the rest of it, meaning I won't be able to see what's underneath, and I do want that. So I know cutting this down is like, oh, it's so pretty, I don't want to cut this down, but it's still going to be pretty. I always tell myself that it's still pretty, even with these little bits cut off. See, that way, so you can see each of the layers. So we're just going to go with that here. I'm going to stick that on and, you know, save these little bits because those are gold. Love those. All right, so that is one there. And now we're going to put them on our snippet roll. Now I don't know. I created 2 other ones, and this one has a little bit different center on it. So I've only done 3 for this snippet roll here. So I don't know. I'm kind of covering up this, you know, little section right there. If you see what I'm doing right there. So I may have to create another one. Oh, well, I'll probably do that. Let me see if I have enough to do that real quick here. I do have some more, so let me cut another one out here. Like I said, this is the more of the tapestry looking one. And I think that works best for the background. So let me just gather some more here. I did not know if I was going to do 3 or 4 of these. So let's just get a bunch of these together again. So I've got 1, 2, 3, and then loving the pattern mixing. I've got this little gorgeous piece right here. I'm going to cut some off of that and use that. And I absolutely love these things. Oh, don't you guys? Oh, so pretty. All right, so what am I going to do here? Let's see. So I've got 1, 2, 3. That looks really pretty. I want, like I said, each of the different colors to show through. So there's that. And then what am I going to use for my focal point? Oh, and you know what else is I need some more of that silver or that gold ribbon here. So I'm going to get some out here. Hold on just a second. I'm going to cut some here. I've got a big old stash over here. Oh, like this guy right here. So I don't know. That's a little big. I don't know, guys. Now I'm going to cut this down because I think my cluster here, I'm not able to see each of the sections. And I do want to see each of the sections. So what's going on here? I think some of these are getting too big. Let me cut that one down. So what have you guys been working on? What are your journals? What's going on? What are you guys up to? I want to hear from you. Oh, it's so fun being here with you guys. There we go. There, now you can see each of the sections, so we'll just go with that. All right. I'm gonna glue each section down here. And this past week, my husband had cataract surgery, and he's doing really well. And so one of his eyes now can see 20/20, and the other one's really still all, you know, weird. So I don't know what he's gonna do because he didn't get the other one done because it's not as bad. So I don't know, he's got to get all new glasses and all that kind of stuff. Oh, the joys of getting older. All right, so I'm going to use this as my focal point. But let me tell you something here. If you don't have a bunch of this kind of stuff, what else could you use as a focal point? Oh, well, yes, let's think about this here for a second. You could use a piece of jewelry. Look how pretty that is. That's an earring. Isn't that cool? You could use jewelry. You could use a button. Oh, that looks really pretty. Oh my gosh. I have a broken piece of jewelry right there. What else could you use? You could use a flower. Oh, that's really pretty. A flower with a, let's see, a button over the top. Look how pretty that looks. Oh my gosh. Let's see, what else? I got all sorts of stuff over here. A wax seal, that would be cool too. I've just got so many different options here. So, you know, you don't have to be limited to what I'm showing you with is just the, you know, the boho sari silk trims. You could use anything as your focal point. Okay, so what am I going to do here? I'm going to cut this guy up. I know, I'm sorry. I know, it's so pretty. Ooh. That one, I don't know. That looks pretty dang good, just like that, doesn't it? Okay, I'm going to make that a little bit smaller here. And then I've got all these little, you know, because when you cut these up, they have all these little beads that start flying all over the place. So I've got all those all over the floor here. So the vacuum's gonna love that. All right, so there's that. Look at that, you guys. Oh, so pretty. So let's put this on our snippet roll. We're gonna glue these down. I just love how this is coming together. So I'm gonna stick those down just like that. And don't think that you have to be finished after you do this, because I'll show you just some more ideas for using these. These are so fun. OMG. Oh, just love them. So we've got our 2 snippet rolls, right? But how to use these? Oh, they're so pretty. Think of this. All right. What if you wanted to add a little bit of trim? Look at how pretty that would be. Just like that, under some of the snippet roll or all of it, that would be fabulous. This trim, like I showed you the little bits of jewelry, you know, add those on there. I've got all these little, you know, doodads and have like, here's an earring. You could have that dangling over on one of the edges. Oh my gosh. I've got so many little bits over here. This is a broken necklace. You could just clip that along the side. Oh, you guys, I'm telling you what, they are so fun. And in addition, you know how whoops, sorry, I told you this thing would start moving around. Each of these can be cut up. So if you wanted, you could just use this, like cut it right there. And some of your extra leftovers, like this is cut up from another piece of my boho trim, you could put that right along the side and you can continue to layer and layer more. So like this little bit is cut off, just put that along the edge right there. Look how pretty that is. So, oh, and another thing, oh man, I'm on a roll again, you guys. I'm telling you, I love this stuff so much. What about an applique? Oh, look how pretty that is. Or, let me see, I got another applique over here in my stash. Look at that pretty applique. Let's do on the first one here, on my first one. So just kind of bringing it all together. Look how pretty that is. Oh, you guys, these are so fun. Let me show you how they're gonna look on a page. Ooh. The journal that I'm working on, I am using from the Paper Mill download. It's called Vintage Rustic Bohemian. Oh, it's so pretty. I'll put a link in the description box for the Paper Mill Downloads Etsy shop. But here's one of the pages, and this is printed on the heavier cardstock, and it's just so pretty. I've just started putting the pages together, but I thought I'd bring one of the digitals out just to show you how awesome these would look on this. So just on a page here, let's see, what are we gonna do here? Let's use the one that we just created. You could use this as a belly band right across the center. Look how pretty that is. Of course, along the side of the page, like so, or right in the middle, and you could have a tuck spot right along the side there. Look how awesome that looks. And like I said, if you didn't want to use the whole thing, cut it up. So for example, this beautiful card here, I thought she's very bohemian. I'm going to use that. Just put it on the bottom of a card or on a tag at the top, or, you know, the sky's the limit. They're just so much fun. And look at the colors, how it just brings the whole thing to life. Now, like I said, you could use this snippet roll as a wrap. Oh yeah, look at that. You could wrap it around the whole thing and glue it down or not. I'm telling you guys, the sky's the limit on these snippet rolls. Now, if you were to do that so that you'd see the backside, I would put another layer of fabric just to cover that up. Let's see, what else do I got here? Let's open this up. What about using this at a diagonal? So, well, that's not gonna work because it covers up the ladies, but maybe on this side, like so. right across the center and putting something right there. You could use these and tuck little bits of, let me show you, little bits of ephemera in between here, and, you know, put another piece there, or like I said, you know, an applique right across there. Oh, look at how pretty that is. But you could, I was just going through some of my ephemera. You could tuck little bits of ephemera onto the side there, or, you know, just behind the clusters, like so. I haven't made any tags yet. I think I said that already, but these would be so pretty on tags too. You guys, these are so fun, so fun. And, you know, I think sometimes we forget about some of the tried and true, just really classic fun things that you can make with fabric and trims. And I gotta tell you, clusters and snippet rolls, they're the best. And you can cater them to any theme. Don't these look fabulous, you guys? Oh, look at that. Oh my gosh. I'm going to continue to play around with these kind of things, but I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I had so much fun putting these together, and I can't wait to use them in my journal here. So I encourage you guys to go make some of these. They're so fun, and I'm looking forward to more Bohemian things. So I've got some ideas for some tutorials, so I'm going to work on those. But thank you so much for watching and being with me today, and I'll see you soon in my next video. So have a good one, everyone. Bye.